Hi guys, welcome to Office Blokes React. I'm Office Bloke Dave.
I'm Office Bloke Mike. Office Bloke Az.
I feel sick. Collectively, we are the Office Blokes. It is true.
Yeah.
Now, our gaming channel is it's going to be launched very soon. It's going to be things like Guess the Substance, where you've got to touch something.
Oh, man.
I saw it and knew what it was. Instant.
Anyway, so keep your eye out for the gaming channel. One thing we did have to do, which is worth addressing, is one of our channels was getting demonetized because we hadn't been posting to it.
Right.
So I had to switch around the gaming channel and the podcast channel.
Oh, okay.
Because otherwise the gaming channel would have been demonetized when we launched it. And it just would, you know, it wouldn't have been. We get a lot more traction this way. So you may notice that the channels have switched. There's now Office Blokes Clips, which all of the confidential's going out on every night of the week. The confidential comes out until we're done. So there you go. Right then, Satisfying Times, Karma Came for Awful People, Part 1.
You just had part 2.
Yeah.
I'm not an awful person. I just,
Karma.
Just don't like watching the pods.
Definitely Karma, wasn't it?
Anyway, I love stuff like this. It's kind of people getting their comeuppance.
Yeah.
So, we'll do it. Satisfying Times, Karma Came for Awful People. Let's do it.
Nothing more satisfying than a heaping slice of justice. It's even better when it occurs naturally, carried out in accordance with the universe's twisted sense of humor. Karma has been dealing out justice since the dawn of time, but only recently have technological advancements allowed us to capture its wickedly wonderful ways on video. So, to do justice to Karma's abiding place in the public consciousness, here's an all-encompassing mixture of some of the most satisfying times Karma came for awful people, past and present.
It's good voiceover voice, isn't it?
Thanks to the internet, we can all experience the satisfaction of seeing infuriatingly inconsiderate people receive some instant justice in super convenient video form. In this viral clip, a woman clearly thinks her conversation with a friend is more important than allowing the train to leave the station on time. Train delays are annoying enough, let alone when they're caused by selfish individuals. With a swift kick, the situation was resolved, much to the surprise pleasure of the passengers. Time to rewind.
I wasn't expecting that, to be honest.
Yeah, it had to be, didn't it?
Yeah.
I thought the doors were just shut on her or something, but
It's the funny thing, it was the kick. It wasn't. If you just pushed her off, like, it wouldn't have had the same effect.
It was a good kick.
That's
It looked
why
like, like a girl that kicked her, actually. Have you seen the one that's on the tube in London? And I think it's a Chelsea fan he's sat with a load of other fans. I'm not sure who they are. And as the doors are just about to shut, one of the guys gets up and just boots him off. Does the exact same thing.
Oh, really? I've not seen that one.
He's not kicking off. He's just chanting. You know, he's like chanting for Chelsea and stuff. And I think it's rival fans around him. And someone just goes, boom, get off. And the door's shut.
This tale, passed down through the generations, begins at the end of the 19th century. When Texan Henry Zeiglin broke his fiance's heart by calling off their engagement, she was so distraught that she committed suicide. Her brother, overcome by vengeance-fueled fury, made his way onto Henry's land and shot him before using the second round in the chamber on himself. Little did he know the first bullet had merely grazed the side of Henry's head, shooting off into the woodland behind him. Henry survived the ordeal, and 20 years passed. One day, Henry was carrying out some landscaping on his property, removing several trees in the process, but one was proving difficult to uproot. Henry resolved to blow it up with some TNT, which wasn't so unusual then as it sounds now. Henry detonated the TNT and died instantly. Not from the explosion itself, though. Buried deep within that tree was the very bullet that had missed him by a millimeter 2 decades earlier. In the explosion, it had been launched back out and hit its original mark.
That's insane.
Since his jilted lover finally got her payback.
I'm not sure that's karma so much. It's like he didn't deserve to die for what he did.
It's more of a story that's been made up because someone shot him in the head while he was messing around.
It came from the tree, honestly.
His new wife that was significally younger and entitled to his whole fortune.
20 years later, I mean, that's a bit of a stretch, isn't it, to believe that one? But
it could happen.
Could happen, yeah.
I suppose it could.
Plausible.
I suppose so, but...
You're about to see why you should never turn your back on a cowboy. This armed robber seems to be new to the job, as he wears no facial cover, nor does he see fit to change out of his regular, casual hoodie and cap. He threatens the till operator and the mustachioed bystander with his handgun, and things seem to be going fairly well for him. But by the way this guy takes off his glasses, it wasn't going to end well for the robber. Things take a turn for the unexpected when an oblivious customer approaches the till with her items. The would-be robber is startled and makes a serious error. Little does he know, the cowboy is waiting for him to slip up.
He's been waiting his whole
As
life.
the robber turns around, the cowboy intervenes. This rare, unlikely act of calm bravery proved to be a potentially life-saving example of right person, right place, right time. After some scuffling, the robber is apprehended by a neat throat takedown.
Oh, yes!
See that again. Is Karma a
Gets
feminist?
in there.
Love that.
Absolutely brilliant.
I'd have to tie him up for 2 days. I wouldn't let him go straight away.
It's all on camera, isn't it?
No, but I don't care. I still have to sort of like say, oh yeah, I kept him.
Yeah.
Couldn't get through when I was calling you.
See, that's what they don't do in the films when they drop a gun like that. They just leave it on the floor, don't they? And you think, just pick the gun up.
Yeah.
And they escape and they pick the gun back up again, the bad guys, don't they? Unbelievable.
See, that guy did, as he went for him, the cowboy guy, he went for the gun as well, didn't he? And then wrestled it out of his hand.
Yeah, he
and
knew what he was doing, didn't he? He was definitely ready for it. He thought, I'm not having this when he took his glasses off, didn't he?
That takedown was the best, though.
Brilliant, wasn't it?
On the way out the door, boom.
Timing, superb.
You could tell the way the guy was holding the gun and stuff. His arms well outstretched. It was kind of pointing towards the floor when he was doing that. He didn't know what he was doing.
No, not at all.
Chuck Norris waiting for his moment.
Exactly, yeah.
Looking at most of human history, you probably wouldn't think so. Yet this story from 1887 raises a few questions. In an effort to have a jolly good laugh at the expense of the female sex, a handful of fellows, who were displeased with the success of women's rights activists in their Kansas town, decided to take action. The group of around 20 men submitted their candidate for the mayoral elections, a woman named Susanna Salter. But their chortle soon turned to gasps of astonishment. The men were certain that no one would ever vote for a woman as mayor. But Susanna, who had been involved with the push to allow female involvement into politics, went on to win 60% of the vote. She became the first female mayor in the United States, and what could be described as the living manifestation of a middle finger.
Wow.
There's nothing more rage-inducing than a reckless driver who feels like they have the right to break the rules at their own convenience, especially when they put others in danger in the process. Luckily, from time to time, karma has our backs. Case in point, this impatient meathead decides the driving lanes aren't up to his standards and opts to speed along in the parking lane, giving the middle finger as he does. Fast forward a bit and he gets held at a set of lights. The cameraman has the great pleasure of seeing red and blue lights appear in the reflection of the car in front. Like we all would, the cameraman chuckles as he passes the reckless driver, who now has a cop car behind him and has descended into an all-encompassing rage, denying any responsibility. Karma served. In this similar case,
I watched that guy, I don't know if you've seen it, in the football last week.
Yeah.
I think it might have been Leicester City when they were playing in one of the European Cup games.
Yeah.
I think they were in Italy or somewhere. Some guy's on his moped and the team bus is coming past and he's on his moped. He's giving it all this on his moped. Smacked straight into a parked car.
I missed that. Oh, man. I bet they're absolutely pissed themselves right on the coach. Oh, brilliant.
Deliciously instant karma, we see a dash cam owner pull into the left lane, which appears to be clear to avoid a buildup of traffic. Unfortunately, another vehicle is speeding way over the limit, too fast to be initially noticed by the dashcam user. The speeding car behind has to brake, much to his annoyance. So much so, he pulls up in front of the camera owner and climbs out, ready to rumble. But the moment he steps out, he realizes his error. A cop has seen the whole thing and has pulled up directly behind. Despite a hilariously feeble attempt to point the blame on the dashcam user as a justification for the recklessness and seeming threat of violence, there's no way out of this one, and he ended up with a ticket.
I will say, if there's two lanes and someone pulls out into that second lane slowly without looking, you've got to be a bit careful there, because people do tend to drive faster in that other lane, don't they?
Fast lane.
We call it the fast lane. Yeah, the cops don't call it the fast lane. Yeah. I mean, you can't be aggressive and you can't be kicking off with people, but it is frustrating if you pull out and try and overtake and someone's going, not defending the guy. Kind of defending the guy.
Last night, I was going to video myself last night.
All right.
I was in a taxi going to the pub. I was going down Shaftesbury Avenue. It was cyclists, like in a peloton, three deep.
Really?
Do you mean Shaftesbury Avenue that has a whole
cycle lane,
the size of
on
a
the
road
with the cycle lane is empty.
Yeah.
Oh man, you should have seen it. I was like, said to the taxi, I swear to God, £100 just to clip one of them. But try and get the guy at the front so they all go.
Yeah.
That level of arrogance when it's not only a cycle lane, it's a road either side of the road that's for cycling and for access.
Yeah, it's huge.
There's no excuse there.
No, not at all. No.
The worst thing is they all had the same colour
sponsorship jerseys, was it?
Whatever they are.
Yeah.
That fucking stretchy material.
Lycra. Yeah.
Pink Lycra with vegan cyclists written across it.
I swear to God, I was so angry when I was going past.
I could imagine.
The job interview feeling like things couldn't have gone worse? No matter how bad yours was, this next candidate takes the karma cake. When candidate recruiter Matt Buckland was rudely barged out of the way and told to go himself on the tube to work, he brushed off the aggressive encounter and went on with his day. He certainly didn't expect that once he reached his office and sat down to interview a potential new employee, he would find that same antagonistic commuter sat smiling politely across from him.
I've heard that
Needless
before.
to say, that particular candidate didn't get the job. He did, however, get a healthy dose of karma. What's the worst first impression you've ever made? Let me know in the comments below. Who knows, I may even feature yours in a future video. Sports can get pretty heated from time to time, but that doesn't justify cheating. It definitely doesn't justify pushing a fellow cyclist off their bike during a race. The karma here is twofold, as the aggressive cyclist initially falls off his bike before a motley crew of outraged fans even step in. But once they do, he's hoisted up and over. There's a moment of dread before we see the long bus.
Oh, wow.
Either way, it's a long fall, and justice is well and truly served.
Wow.
Not everyone
That really
gets to
escalated
administer
for him, didn't it?
justice in retaliation to being robbed. Nor should they. We have laws to free us of that responsibility. But sometimes the heat of the moment provides an opportunity that's hard to resist. This video outside of Denny's in Los Angeles shows an attempted robbery gone wrong. When the perpetrator forces his way into his victim's car, stealing items and making a break for it, he never anticipates that this individual would seek his own justice. Before the thief knows what's what, the robbed man quickly whips his car around and floors it toward the robber. The robber tries to pull out his gun in defense, but it's too late, and he is sent barreling into the air. That's not all, though. When the car collides with the thief, his gun goes off, and he shoots himself. He won't be running from any cops anytime soon, as he ended up in intensive care.
Wow.
When he's finally released from hospital, his on-camera crime means there won't be much to celebrate either, as he'll be straight off to the slammer.
Quality. Wow. It's the best one, that.
Yeah. That's one of them where, like, obviously we're all big fans of the NHS over here and the free healthcare that we get. But that's one of them where you think, and then he got hit with a $200,000 bill for the surgery and everything else, and you're like, come on, mate.
I thought the guy was going a bit fast towards him. I thought it was a bit over the top, that, but when he said he'd got a gun out, then I thought, I thought maybe he's just going to nick him and sort of knock him over. But
nah, you've got to go all out in that situation.
If he's armed,
proper run him over.
You've got to get him before he turns around and shoots. So, fully justified.
Control karma? It certainly seemed that way after this unbelievable case of pro-animal rights instant karma took place in 2015. When a Texan spotted a shelled intruder on his property, he quickly grabbed his .38 revolver. You know, because gunfire is the only rational way to get rid of an armadillo. He took aim, fired 3 times, and was struck in the head by his own bullet after it ricocheted off the critter's shell. Luckily for him, the bullet struck his jaw. And though the injuries were minor, I doubt he'll be rushing into another showdown against one of these animals anytime soon. What is it with Texans and hilarious acts of karma? The tale of Francois Lolonais is a funny one. He was a pirate operating in the Caribbean during the 1600s. He had a nasty habit of torturing the locals in the coastline towns he and his crew pillaged, taking particular enjoyment in cutting chunks of flesh from his unfortunate victims until they succumbed to their gruesome injuries. Karma finally took its own chunk out of Lolonais when he was shipwrecked and captured by natives near Panama. These unfriendly locals gave the pirate their customary treatment for unwelcome guests. They tore him into pieces, alive, throwing his body limb after limb into a raging fire. Now for the infamous case of Maximilien Robespierre. You may already be aware that, During the French Revolution, the newly invented guillotine was up and down more than a Parisian courtesan's girdle. This was due in no small part to the strong advocacy for execution from prominent individuals during and after the Revolution, for which only the highly efficient guillotine could meet the demands. One individual, Monsieur Robespierre, was particularly fond of sending his perceived political opponents to the block during the Reign of Terror. But his strong lust for clean cuts was soon turned around on him, and his own neck ended up on the chopping block when the chaotic tides of the Revolution turned against him. The same type of sharp, shiny poetic justice also fell upon the necks of many of his peers. It's easy to get a little caught up in the wildness of competitive sports, but that doesn't excuse being a jerk to the players. After all, whether your team or not, they're there for your entertainment. In one game, Steve Sullivan of the Chicago Blackhawks sustained a painful hockey stick to the face. But this hockey fan doesn't seem to care much about mutual respect as he mocks Sullivan from the other side of the barrier. Steve seems unfazed. Perhaps he knew karma was about to deal out some sweet, sweet revenge for him. Shortly afterwards, a stray puck flies through the air, over the barrier, and straight into the once mocking face of a certain deserving crowd member. As if to rub salt into the wound, Sullivan then goes on to score 2 goals in the game for the Blackhawks.
Yeah, of course
Justice
it was.
Doesn't get much quicker or more appropriate than that. Do you have your own instant karma stories?
Absolutely love that.
Brilliant.
Where he just skates past him again. And
Yeah, there you go, son.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Some
2
really good
goals
ones
and
there.
There's a few good ones there, but I think that is the best just because the guy was so smug about it. And it's like,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's
Nice.
what happens.
Yeah, it's
Good one, man.
I love the karma stuff though. Like I say, it's when I see it happen, it's probably one of the funniest things that happens.
Yeah.
You know, like I said before about the Leicester guys. You know, if someone's doing that on a bike and then they're straight into a parked car.
Yeah.
I mean, it's great when you hear stories, but when you actually see it, you know, it's been videoed, filmed. Brilliant.
The thing is, don't be a dick and don't take yourself too seriously. And if you follow those 2 rules, you'll probably be all right.
Fine.
But if you take yourself seriously and then you start being a dick to people,
It's going to come back.
Yeah.
It's going to come back.
You see it at football matches where people get like they all get angry and they sort of, you know, like a bit like that guy there giving it a bit to the players and giving it there, and one of them get done by a little small kid. Little kid comes back with something real sharp, and then the other guy's just looking at him going, "No, come back."
I can't do anything.
Just walks off.
Got nothing.
Tail between his legs.
Oh, man.
Hope you guys enjoyed it. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Hit the bell. We'll catch you on the next one.
cheers. Guys.